Now, the story about the father who had to leave his children at McDonald's to take a job interview takes an interesting turn when the police find out that his job interview only lasted 25 minutes. So, what exactly was he doing with the remainder of those 6 hours? Now, I know you guys have been seeing this story. A father by the name of Chris Lewis who ended up getting arrested for leaving his kids at McDonald's because he took a job interview. Now, after his story had become mega viral, Antonio Brown had posted on X and said anybody know how to get a hold of Chris would love to help him. And help him he did. Antonio Brown started a GoFundMe for Chris Lewis that ended up raising $57,000. And I wish the story had just ended here, but it doesn't, because Antonio Brown, like a person who raised a GoFundMe with that sizable amount of money, wanted to do a little bit more digging into the story just to make sure everything was on the up and up. So Antonio Brown pulled the police report, and here's what the findings say that kind of contradicts the full dad leaving his kids at McDonald's to take a job interview story. Now, the police were called to the local McDonald's by two witnesses who stated that they saw 3 children there unattended. The captain, by the name of Danny Whitehead, conducted a follow-up investigation, and then they give you the investigation number. And when that officer arrived, Chris Lewis, as well as the mother of his children, had already been there, and I guess they had got into a disagreement. The officer goes on to say that he saw inconsistencies in the subject's stories after he had questioned them about their whereabouts. The officer took a statement from the 10-year-old child who stated that she and her father, Chris Lewis, and their 2 siblings had walked to McDonald's from the Hendricks apartment complex. He further stated that her father left her there to deliver a backpack to the Hendricks apartment complex and told her that he would return shortly. The children also mentioned that their father frequently leaves them alone. Now, the officer also spoke with 2 witnesses who were at the restaurant before the parents had arrived, and witness number 1 and 2 both reported arriving at the restaurant around 16:30 or 4:30 in the afternoon, observing the children there without adult supervision. They recalled that the father was on the phone with someone and was overheard saying that he needed to drop something off. The witnesses stated that after this, the father left McDonald's, leaving the children behind, and they estimated the children were alone for approximately an hour and a half. Now, victim number 1, being the 10-year-old child, had contacted her mom via social media approximately at 1800 hours, which is exactly at 6 p.m. The mom, Lisette Picardo, arrived at the McDonald's about 12 minutes later. She advised that Mr. Lewis was supposed to deliver a backpack to her mother at the Hendricks apartment complex and had been told that he must take the children with him. Picardo immediately called Mr. Lewis, who answered and stated that he was on his way back to McDonald's from the Hendricks. Now remember, the mom arrived at 6:12 p.m. The father then arrived around 6:18 p.m. Mr. Lewis had told police that he had a job application at the West Bank Inn, which seems like a hotel or a motel located adjacent to the McDonald's, and he was waiting for a call back for a possible interview. He said he left to deliver the backpack to the Hendricks, but during that time he had lost his ID and another card and had been retracing his steps to find them. Now, to verify this, the officer, stated that he had visited the West Bank Inn and spoke with the manager, and she confirmed that Mr. Lewis came in on March 22nd and completed a job application. She also conducted an informal interview with him to that date, and when asked if Mr. Lewis would be expecting a call back for a formal interview, she stated no. Here's where the story gets interesting, because that manager provided video surveillance of Mr. Lewis arriving at 3:12 p.m., which is about 1:12 p.m., and he left about 1:37 p.m. If he left the job at 1:37 p.m., he didn't arrive back to the McDonald's until 6:18 p.m. What was he doing with all that time in between? I believe this is where Antonio Brown gets suspicious, because he said he spoke with a girlfriend this morning, and she said he was at a job interview and that they have been homeless since November. He said no funds will be sent to the family till the story is verified. If I can't verify the story, I will have GoFundMe refund the money to everyone who has given. Blessings. Rightfully so. If they can't figure out what the father was doing with that 5-hour gap, then it's understandable that Antonio Brown, as well as the people who gave to that GoFundMe, would want their money back. It's also really disheartening that even if he did have a gap in time of 5 hours, the family is still homeless. But if there's any updates in the story, I'm going to keep you guys posted.